everybody, Remrov here again. I'm a classic autist who makes these videos to educate about autism and to build a bridge in between the autistic and neurotypical world, and I hope to be a voice for non-verbal people with autism. In this video I want to share more about autism and feelings. A few people have asked me to do a video about this topic, so here it is. Some people think that people with autism don't have any feelings. They seem to be a bit like robotic or analytical and logical. Like Spock from Star Trek, for example. But even though Spock is very analytical, he definitely does have emotions and feelings. He just deals with them in a very different way, in a very analytical way. Once I had a counselor who worked with us autistic people, and who had even done a education about autism, and he once told me that we were more like robots than people. And of course it was a very hurtful thing to say, and it was a total misconception as well. I've read on a few websites that this misconception it can be partly blamed on the movie Rain Man. They say that Rain Man only shows an emotional breakthrough throughout the end of the movie. But I totally disagree with that. Rain Man is full of emotions throughout the whole movie. He has a lot of fear and anxiety towards sounds and changes, for example, which are emotions. And in one scene you can also totally see him freak out, because his younger brother Charlie is drawing a bath for him, and he suddenly remembers an experience when they were both a lot younger, and his little brother Charlie almost got burned in the bathtub because of the hot water. And so Raymond completely freaks out, and he's afraid that that's gonna happen again. So that's an emotion. So we do have emotions and feelings, but we just express them differently, and we deal with them, a bit differently. Emotions and feelings are very difficult to recognize in ourselves, but also in other people. They can be very confusing, and in ourselves, for example, like what are we feeling exactly, and what are the causes of our feelings and emotions? How do we put it in words? We can recognize really basic emotions, like when we are happy or sad or angry, for example. But there are a lot of subtle emotions and feelings as well, like jealousy and pride, and those are very difficult to recognize. When I'm feeling something in a certain way, then I often really have to analyze myself to understand what I'm feeling. I have to ask myself, okay, what am I feeling? I'm being unhappy, I'm being irritated, am I just being tired, or is something annoying me? And if is something annoying me, then what is the cause of it? It's very difficult to identify. Emotions are very abstract, and we autistic people do better with concrete things. It's also very difficult to recognize feelings in other people, and it can be caused by the fact that we find facial expressions very difficult to understand. You have basic facial expressions like happiness and anger, and those are easier to understand and to recognize. But sometimes even those can be confusing, because when somebody's crying, for example, is that person happy or sad? Personally, I've also found it difficult to recognize sometimes if somebody's joking or if somebody's really angry. I find facial expressions and emotions better to recognize in other people when I know somebody really well. But if I understand my mom's facial expressions and emotions, it doesn't mean that I understand my neighbor's facial expressions and emotions, because my mom has a completely different face than my neighbor. I also find it very difficult to understand somebody's feeling when I haven't been through exactly the same thing. For example, years ago, I I didn't have a boyfriend. I never had a boyfriend, and I always found it very difficult to understand how sad somebody could be if they lost their boyfriend, if they broke up, for example. I was personally never really interested in having a boyfriend. I always preferred to be alone because it always took so much out of me to be around other people. It was just safer to be by myself. But now I do have a boyfriend, Edward, and I love him very much, and I can't bear to think about losing him or breaking up with him. It's just, I can't bear to think about that. So now I do understand somebody's feelings when they broke up with somebody, or when they lose a loved one. With my own emotions and feelings, I do tend to be like Spock. I do tend to be analytical. I ask myself, does it help me to get emotional over this? Does it help me to get upset over this? For me, it's very important to stick to my schedule, to stay on my path in order to have a good day. And when I get emotional over something, it can really get in my way, and I can really be thrown off my axis by it. So for me, it's often better to be analytical and be logical about it, to solve a problem or to find a detour back as soon as possible to my path again. In my past, I used to do this without being aware of it. I even have an example about that. Years ago, I used to do volunteering work at a police station. I used to wash the police cars and check the inventory. And once I arrived there on my bike at the police station to start my work, and the police station was right next to the train tracks. And I heard suddenly a lot of noise. A train was coming, the train was honking its horn, and a lot of noise. And so I climbed on the fence to see what was going on, to see what was happening. And then I suddenly saw the remains of a man lying on the train tracks, and right next to the train tracks, and all around, actually. And yeah, I was a bit shocked by that, of course. I didn't really realize what was going on, and after that, all the police officers, they were really busy with dealing with the incident, and people were really sad over it and in shock over it, and I didn't really know what to do. I was watching everybody, and then I thought that for me it's I just decided to stick to my schedule and to just decide to wash the cars and to check the inventory. But then the police officers, they sent me home, and I was really confused about that. I didn't understand why. And so they explained to me that this incident was just too horrible to go wash the cars there. It could even be hurtful for the people in the neighborhood to see somebody washing the cars after such a horrible incident. So we do express and deal with emotions and feelings in a different way, but we definitely do have emotions and feelings. People have also asked me if we have passion and love towards other people, and yes, we do. But being close to a person, like friendships, for example, can also be very scary because people can be very unpredictable and they're constantly changing. For example, one day I burp and my mom laughs about it, and another day I burp and she gets angry about it. So what can I expect? It can be very unsafe to be and confusing to be with others. People often say something different than what they feel and mean, and it can be very, very confusing. There are parents of autistic kids who have also asked me, and they're often afraid or worried that their autistic child doesn't love them. But I can reassure you that they really do love you. They might not be able to tell you that they love you, or they might even not be able to understand their feeling of love towards you, but it doesn't mean it's not there. So this was it. I hope you found it useful. If you have any questions, you can ask me everything in the comments below, or send me a message. If you have any ideas about topics that I should do a video about, please let me know. You should also consider to subscribe to my YouTube channel, so you can stay updated about all my new videos. You can also consider to become my patron on Patreon for $1 a month. You can support me with this project, and you can watch a lot of patron only material also. Well, Pilaf and I wish you a very nice day, and we hope to see you with our next videos again. Bye!